Howdy y'all, Redneck Mal here. Today I'm going to be doing a video on the basic tools that you need for vaping. I'm going to go over the basics, some more advanced tools, and then tools that are really helpful, especially when you're making really advanced coils like twisted and clapped-in coils. For the basic coils, all I use is wire, obviously, some cotton. I use cotton bacon, whatever kind of organic cotton you can use. When I first started, I was using store-bought cotton that I just boiled down. It works for a little while, but it does burn out quicker, and it gives a funky taste. You also need something to wrap it around. I've just used this old framing nail for the longest time. Can be helpful, not necessarily required, is a coiling jig. This jig I made it myself. I just took a piece of metal, an old nail, and nailed it into a block, drilled a hole in the top, and then I just use it like a Cura coil or a Coil Master coiling jig. You also need a pair of needle nose pliers, toothless needle nose pliers with wire cutters, or you can buy a separate pair of wire cutters. I took intro to electronics in college, so I have a set of halfway decent wire cutters. Another thing that's helpful but not necessarily required is a good set of micro screwdrivers. Now, so that at least if you lose your Allen key or whatever, you always have an extra screwdriver lying around. Scissors are also pretty handy, but you can use the wire cutters to cut the cotton. Okay. A box to hold your coils in. I make a lot of spare coils, and I just throw them in this box, and then whenever I'm in a rush and don't feel like making another coil, I'll just take one out of the box and throw it in my RDA, and down the road I go. I hold everything in this old Nintendo DS game case. It's got the little pockets where I stick everything in, and then I just kind of pile stuff in there. That's how I carry my stuff around. For some of the more advanced stuff, I have this hook which screws into my drill for whenever I'm making twisted builds. I don't cut two strands of wire. I'll just take a wire, fold it, a really long piece, fold it in half, stick this in the drill, and put the loop over this, grab the other end with the pliers, and twist. This is just a little Ryobi cordless drill. I've had it forever. Another good thing to have is a vise, especially when you're making clapping coils. You can just hold it down with the one end, put the other end in your drill, and just spin. Another helpful thing that I found when making clapped-in coils is fishing swivels. Just connect a couple swivels together. You can put one into your vise, put the other end of the wire into your drill, wrap one end into the end of the swivels, other end into your drill, and then you don't have to sit there and try and hold the other end of the wire or let it whip around and smack you. Then you can just hold pressure down on the outer core wire and just run it down. Another thing that's helpful when you're making clapping coils, at least for me, because when I make a clapping wire, I make a lot of it. I don't make one coil. I make a big strand of wire, and then I'll make coils as I need them. Keep your old spools. So you can see that's some homemade clapping wires that I made, and I just spool them around old spools. Another thing that's really helpful, especially if you're trying to figure out the resistance of your wire is a multimeter. I don't have a multimeter, so what I use is a program called Steam Calculator. And for Steam Calculator, you need to know the pitch of your wires, of your twisted wires. So I use a tape measure, just a little $2 Lowe's tape measure, to figure out the twist pitch, so that then I can just put it in the calculator and boom. Another thing that's handy is an ohm reader. I don't have an ohm reader right now. My last one puked. I'm not a big fan of ohm readers because I haven't found a good one. I keep getting ohm readers, and in 3 or 4 weeks they puke on me. The best ohm reader, and as stupid as it sounds, the best ohm reader I found is just using one of my mods. I usually use my Sigelli 150 watt as my ohm reader. Or once in a blue moon, I'll take out my Snow Wolf and I'll use that. Usually that just sits up on my shelf though. Obviously, you also need your RDA and a mod. This is my unregulated mod. You've seen it in another video. Haven't put a door on this yet. I will eventually get to that after I put a MOSFET in it, because I think I'm just going to put a door on the battery part, and I'm just going to glue a piece of wood over top of this. Also really helpful when making Claptons, so you're not rubbing the Clapton, because I make, as I said, just one long wire, is take the end to an old spring-loaded pen, one of the clicky ones that you can screw the tip off of, and you can use that instead of having to sit there with your finger like this and the wire just keeps digging into your finger. My fingers usually tend to bleed after a little while doing that, so I've discovered just using this and holding the tension down using this old pen top tends to work a lot better. I think that's all the tools I use. Yeah, that's all the tools I've used. Another nice thing to have is a set of ceramic tweezers. I have them. I just don't have tips for them because I burnt out the tips. Gotta go get tips. That's it. Hope you all enjoy this video. Peace out.